Hey pals, as some of you may know, I'll be releasing an album soon, in May, in fact. And in a lead up to that, I'm going to be releasing a bunch of singles. And the first one just came out on the 3rd of December, and it's called Pools. And I wanted to take a look at it and do a little bit of a deep dive into its structure and how it was made. And yeah, just make a little bit of content about this track because I really like it. So let's head over to Ableton and take a look. All right, so here we are in Ableton. And the interesting thing about this track is that I made it in about 2018. And it's just taken that long to sort of, I guess, focus on it enough to get the mix right. My skills have just improved a lot since then. And so it's only recently that I finished the mix and got it to a place that I was happy with. And so a lot of the sort of stylistic production techniques in this track quite different to how I work now. So an example of this is in these orange clips here, which are all recordings from the Digitone, the Electron Digitone. So let's have a listen to this pad sound, for example. The end of that loop has a little bit of characteristic Electron sequencer modulation goodness. So I think it's kind of like a unique loop, and it's really lush pad as well. And similarly, I've got this ARP here, which does have a filter on it from Runsitter here. But if we just disable that filter, you'll hear the full breadth of the sound. So it's a really lush, beautiful sound, courtesy of the Digitone. And over here, I've also got these lush stabs, which sound like this. So all those sounds are the Digitone, and I just don't have the Digitone anymore, so I don't use it. And similarly, up the top here, I've got the drums, which sound like this. And the thing about the drums is, firstly, I made this drum beat using the Digitact, which is a sampler, and so it's not that different to how I work, because I do often work with samples now when making beats. But the way you interface with it, of course, is different from using like a drum rack in Ableton, although it is more similar than you might think, honestly. But anyway, the point is that I don't have a Digitact anymore either, and so I don't write beats doing that. And even though I have other drum machines, I don't really use them to make beats these days either. Occasionally I do, but not often. And so one of the main features of this beat is this Octatrack loop that I've got, which I actually recorded a bunch of parts for it, which is why you can see all these different colors on the timeline. And I ended up chopping a lot of my recordings together because they were kind of little performances, because the Octatrack is a performance sampler, and you've got a crossfader on it, and I did a lot of messing around with the crossfader. But anyway, it's basically a loop that has a comb filter on it. And let's just have a listen. We can listen to over here as well. So yeah, the Octatrack has a comb filter. It's really extreme. If you push the feedback on it, you can tune it as well. So it's tuned to the track, and it ends up sounding like a resonator. And so the main thrust of this sound is a dry loop, which is then getting the dry wet of the comb filter sort of pulled onto it, and you end up with this resonator sound. And I think it's really characteristic of this track, even if it is a bit subtle, but it is in the background of this beat. Kind of providing some harmonic context, I suppose. The beat itself is very swung, really sort of funky house beat, really kind of tough, but also kind of fun. And I like that about it. I think it really complements the kind of summery vibe of this track. But without further ado, I want to get to the sort of my favorite part of this track, and it is this keys sound. Or perhaps more specifically, it's not the sound itself, although I do love the sound. It is the chords. I just really love this chord progression. It's kind of melancholic, kind of hopeful, very warm, but also a little bit, I don't know, like it's happy but dark, I would say. And it's sort of just a nice refrain that constantly the track returns to. It's like you build up tension with all of the beats and stuff, and then you release it with these pads, these keys. And I just love that about this song. It's my favorite part of it, and without these chords, I don't think this track would even be worth a damn. I just think it's beautiful. And with filters and stuff, I sort of change the sound of it throughout the piece. And there is kind of this slight sort of bridge section where the chords change a bit. Bit of modulation there. But yeah, love those chords. I just think they're amazing. Even if I do say so myself, I just really like them. Another aspect of this track, which I think is interesting, is that there's a lot of instances of Roland Cloud instruments, which are obviously all audio now, because I don't use Roland Cloud anymore. But at the time, I was using it a lot. So I've got this SH2 sound. And also, sorry, that was an SH101 sound, and then I have this SH2 sound here. And another SH2 sound which forms the main aspect of the bass line, or the top line of the bass line, because I've layered it with two other instruments. So I bring in those two other instruments. Those two other instruments are instances of Falcon, one of my favorite software instruments. Another instance of it here. They're just providing that sort of subby kind of respace low end. And that's pretty much the track. There's also this rhythmic lead here. Let's have a listen to that. Let's listen to it in context. So yeah, that's my track. It's called Pools. Just came out. It's available on everything. If you really want to support me and support the label Slice Records that it's released on, go to Slice Records Bandcamp page and just buy it. Nobody buys music anymore, but you should. I think it'll be a great addition to your DJ sets, or just for listening, obviously. I really love melody. I really love beauty. I really love atmosphere, and I think that this track has all of that, but it's also quite fun and pretty unique. So go check it out, and I will see you next time. Bye.